Yeah, Sarah, as I was thinking, getting past the difficulty of writing, I think we had to go back ourselves and think about our own stories, which were not easy stories,
Right.
and times in our own lives when we thought, is there hope out there for us?
Yeah.
And it was through our getting in touch with our story, at least mine, and I think you did the same thing, that we had a calling to say, we've got to help other young people to go through and to have hope. Because I remember when I was a young girl in Anderson, Indiana, and the church was the one. They were the village for me that helped provide and create and affirm and push for the hope when in school we knew we were not going to get it because we were black kids. For example, even in high school, the guidance counselors were not there for us. There were no college visitations for black students. We were not invited to go. We wanted college prep courses. We were simply told, not for you. So the church was the village that says, oh yes, they may not give it, but we're going to provide for you. We're going to make a way, and we're going to create. So every year, when young people in that church turned 12 years old, they got called to the front of the church with the oldest members, with the pastor, and with their parents. And the oldest members, remarkable people who would observe you and how you carried yourself, what you did, and noticed your interests. And they would pronounce those interests and those skills and those gifts in front of the whole congregation. And for me, there were two things: music and teaching. And I always wondered why they choose teaching. Well, I think I was a busybody or something like that. And so they saw it, and that's what they pronounced. But in addition to calling out the gifts, after that they laid hands on you, and the pastor prayed. And then the church said, okay, we're going to find these places in the congregation for you to hone into your gifts and build on your gifts. And mine was, first of all, to play for the children's choir, and one Sunday out of every month to get up on that piano and play a hymn for the entire congregation to sing during morning worship. Now that's a big thing, you see. And then the second thing was being farmed out to the adult Sunday school class. I still remember Mr. Montgomery. And my task, being farmed out to the adult Sunday school class, was to read the scripture. And then every now and again he would say, and what do you think about that scripture? Asking a 12-year-old, what do you think? That was huge. But it's a way of saying, you've got gifts. And they always said, you are going to be somebody. And really, you are already somebody.
That's right.
And Christian vocation, however you are, wherever you go, you are somebody, and you've got gifts, and you've got talents, and you're going to make it. And you carry your Christian walk with you wherever you go. What if that didn't happen? You see, so for me, in those tough times when things were not working out outside of the church and in the larger community or in the high school, junior high school and high school, I had hope because there was hope for me in the church. So I had to think about that. And that's where my calling to help young people today and throughout my life really came. If it was done for me, I've got to carry it on. I've got to make it happen for others.
That's right, Dr. Ann. It's so funny you talk about the church and how important that was in regard to like affirming your skills and your gift. And I can remember my mom, who was a single mother, making me do like the Easter play or making me do, sing. And I wasn't that good of a singer, by the way, but having me sing in a choir. But and remembering her, going over, no, you have to do it like this. Don't say it. You have to do it with tone and, communication skills you would learn in a speech class or a persuasive speaking class, really saying, no, you have to say it like this with intonation. No, that's a question. No, that's an excellent, kind of learning the nuances of speaking, communication, and how the church became like a stage where I could begin to rehearse rehearse communication, in front of people or with people. And as reserved as I am, I'm very reserved. But I realized that those stages, those times of rehearsal in front of church was really important for developing in me a sense of confidence in my ability to speak or to share. The other places that were really pivotal in my life, and this is probably what informs my approach to a lot of, or my emphasis on Beyond the Walls ministry, is a lot of the places, other places that were really like beacons of hope and joy in my life were organizations that had faithful Christians running them, who saw wherever youth are, as a faithful Christian, it's my job to minister to those people. It's my job to be an agent of hope in those spaces. And one particular place in my community called Chester Eastside Ministries, who actually was part of the Philadelphia Presbytery, was a non-worshiping body, although they still had worship. But what they did, they had a community program of art, drama, dance, visual art, piano, just all kinds of art. And it's in that space where I was first introduced to the fact that it was professional dancers, tap dancers, would come and teach us these different skills. Piano could be a profession, it was my first time being introduced to these spaces. In that space, it was my first job. I was getting $5 a week as a librarian. It was the first place, Chester Eastside Ministries was the first place that I began tutoring. And I was in middle school. I went to a Catholic school. I was bussed out of the city. I went to a Catholic school, but I was tutoring some people who were in seniors, and they probably were at a second grade reading level. So it was also at that place where the intersection of injustice and inequity in the educational system became really clear. But then at the same time, the ways in which people could kind of intervene and help supplement and become a village to help bridge the opportunity. So Reverend Bernice Warren, who ran the space, she just served as a very pivotal kind of role model. And then also like places like Upward Bound, where we could have access to academic skills that would help prepare me to be in spaces, in other spaces where I could excel educationally, even though so much of the community or the public school system wasn't always excelling. So I think back on those things, and I realized that Beyond the Walls of ministry requires you to be holistic in your approach to youth. It forces you not just to think about the spirit, but to know that they are a human being with a mind, a body, a soul, and a spirit, and that as we minister to one aspect, we begin to it opens the door for us to minister to so much of that youth.
Yes, and you know what? It also gives us an understanding inside ourselves of what hope really is. We anticipate, we expect something to happen. We get a vision of what's possible, and they helped us to move toward that vision and to fulfill that expectation. You see, that's hope.
That's right.
That's hope. And for them, there was no ifs, ands, buts about it. You're going to do it. And for me, that was the courage. They had the courage to step in when somebody outside was not going to do it for us. you see, and their expectation of us, we were going to have that same courage. You're going to stand up, and you are somebody, and you're going to be somebody, and you're going to go on in your life, and you're going to keep going, keep on keeping on to see what the end will be. Yeah. That's courage and hope meshed together.
You're right, and it's like thinking about them is like a call and a response. It's like their courage like calls us to respond in with courage. And so it's like moving from courage to courage to see generations beyond us, move in hope.